It's time now for the best high school sports action from the WBCB Sports Network. Catch the best games from Bucks and Mercer County at WBCBSports.com and our Facebook page. Your home for high school sports is right here at WBCB 1490.
Minor.
All right, I guess we're on. I can't really tell. The music kind of stopped there, but welcome. This is the Nottingham Preview Show. Obviously doing this once again virtually here as we get you set for some more Mercer County basketball. This is sponsored in part by Capital Health System, Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, New Jersey Education Association, Hamilton Township Education Association, and by Saul Funeral Homes. We're joined by the coach of Nottingham and a couple of his players here, Chris Raba. Chris, great to talk to you again, and it's great to be with you tonight.
Hey, Keith, good to see you, and I'm happy to be here.
All right, so let's talk briefly before we get into this year and everything that's going on. Last year, there's no question that you had to deal with a lot of adversity, whether it be just losing a lot of players and going into the season not really sure what to make of your squad, and you ended up winning 19 games, almost 20 games, and putting together a 19-8 season. Obviously, this season going to be looking totally different as far as roster goes, but tell the audience a little bit about the last season and how it really turned out to be a really good one for you guys.
Well, last year was an incredible ride. I think everyone was surprised. We lost 9 seniors that graduated that year, and 3 of them were first team all county, and 1 was the player of the year. That team had a lot of depth. That was a really fun team to coach. I mean, I think their 2 years, that group, when they were juniors and seniors, I think they were like 39 and maybe 13 or something. That's including the COVID year where they were 13-2, but that team probably had a chance to win a state championship.
No question.
The 2 games that we lost, I think we lost by a combined 3 points. So that was just an incredible team. And then, you never know what to expect. Each year is different. And we had Joe, who came back, and we had Q, who came back, and they were the only 2 that saw varsity minutes as sophomores and as freshmen. And we knew that we had some good talent, but you just never know. Things came together. We won a lot of close games. We had 3 very good senior leaders. Timmy, Aiden, and Lewis. They kind of set the tone. They never really played that much, but they all did an intricate part of helping us be successful. They probably could have been the 3 best senior leaders I ever had, considering that they didn't play as much as they probably wanted to as seniors. We ended up going to the the Mercer County semifinal. Mm-hmm. So it's been 4 out of the last 5 years that we've reached that. Unfortunately, it seems like every year when we get there, we had to play TCA, or we probably would have won more than one Mercer County championship, over the past 5 years. But we always like playing, the best competition that we can. It was really just, as a coach, I really had fun coaching that group. I'm not sure that they had high expectations, but when you play at Nottingham, myself and the other coaches always have high expectations for the players and the and the program, and Joe and JP and everyone else on the team did an unbelievable job. They all bought into their roles. They were just a joy to coach, to be honest with you.
You made it to the quarterfinal round of the state tournament as well and lost in a tough game. I remember I didn't do that game, but I watched kind of the end of it because I was somewhere else. And I was like, that Boundbrook team was really good. And you guys
really
only lost by 4.
Yeah, I think at the time that I think they only had 2 losses on the season. It was funny. I mean, just to show you the character of our team, I think we were down 20 points 2 or 3 separate times in that game, and with 1 minute left, we had the lead. So it just shows you how hard we fought. And what happened? We were up by 1, and I think it was under a minute, and the kid took a 3-pointer, and they called a foul on cue. The kid made 3 free throws. So, I mean, I'm not saying that we fouled them or not, but if they don't call a foul, I remember that we got the rebound off that possession. The outcome could have been different, but it was just just for us to be down 3 different times by 20 in that game, and with a minute left, we have
it's
a
almost
1-point
impossible.
lead. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just shows you the heart and the soul that those kids played with last year.
Well, and you guys had a very good record as well in conference, 9-4. And this conference, you and I talked off the air a little bit, and other coaches that I've talked to as well, they, kind of all agree that this is going to be one of the better CVC conferences that we've seen in quite a while. I'm going to go down to some of the players now. Joe and JP, I know you guys were big, integral parts of that team last year. Joe, I'll come to you first. Do you think about last year a lot when you think about, maybe there wasn't a lot of expectations for you guys, and then you came out and actually played really well throughout the year, and coaches kind of talked about some of the close games and tight games that you guys had, tough competition. How much do you think about last year when you are getting set now for a week away from starting this season?
Well, last year we ended on a note that we didn't want to, but we knew going into last year that we had the talent. It's just that we had to believe in ourselves and believe in Coach Raba and just trust the system and then just play how we normally would.
How is the ramp up from, being the quarterback of the team, and now you got to jump right into basketball? What's that ramp up basketball wise? Or are you always constantly, thinking about it, whether it be going to the gym, putting up shots? I mean, what are you able to do?
During football season, it's hard to play basketball because I have practice 6 times a week and then games.
Right.
But I always try to get into the gym when I could, just to get up a couple shots. Even if I was coming from practice, I'd always shoot outside maybe once in a while.
That's always good. And, got to get ready somehow, right? I mean, you're obviously, well conditioned from football, which is a plus. And JP, for you, I remember we talked after one game. I think it was when the gyms finally started to open last year and in capacity and everything. Now we're, hopefully beyond all of that stuff. And I remember you telling me how loud that Nottingham gym was. And it really is. It might be one of the loudest ones that I've seen in this area. And finally, I believe it was against that Hamilton West team where you guys won that big game in the Mercer County. I believe it was the quarterfinals there. So how excited are you to get this season going, especially with that last year under your belt as kind of that point guard and shooting guard and kind of running this offense?
Man, I'm excited for this year. I don't know what's in store for us. Taking one game at a time. Definitely one of the loudest gyms, especially that Hamilton versus Nottingham game. I guess because we're rivals, so that's expected. So I'm definitely excited. I feel like we have the potential to go far, as long as we do our parts. So. Yeah.
And Dom, obviously you're coming over from Trenton Catholic. So first of all, what made you interested in this Nottingham team and Coach Rob potentially in kind of coming over and playing for what could be another really nice season for Nottingham?
So I had the right opportunity at TCA, but I talked to Coach Raba and I felt like it was the perfect fit for me, and just trying to win a championship, bring one to Nottingham. I love the teammates too. when I first came, I really didn't think I was gonna fit in, but they opened me with open arms, and I felt really comfortable. So yeah.
So what was the first thing that might have attracted you? Was it the fact that you had seen Nottingham play last year, and you kind of thought back to that when you decided, hey, I might potentially leave this school and go to another one? I mean, what really was the first thing that stood out that made you think, hey, let me talk to some Nottingham people?
So what I saw was they all used to talk on the court, like they were loud on the court playing defense, talking, even off the court. They were like, "Good job," all that stuff. So when I came, they were doing the same exact thing to me, and I just fell in love with it. So it's really gonna be a great year. So
Absolutely, Coach. Back to you.
Just let me. I just want to jump in, like all three of these guys I've seen play since they've been in middle school. I used to watch Joe and JP play at Hamlin Powell, and Dom I used to watch all the time when he played in the CYO, and they were all terrific younger players, and I was after them back then. All three of them. I was happy that Joe and JP came to Nottingham right from the beginning, but that I've known Dom since I've watched him play since he's been in 4th and 5th grade. I remember all the times that we've played TCA at Sovereign Bank Arena. Dom used to sit behind TCA's bench, and I was like, man, I wish I could have him. And he just loves basketball, so he's always been around good basketball, and so has JP and Joe. So it's not like we just fell upon them. I mean, I watched these kids play since they were little.
So, I kind of asked Dom what he saw in Nottingham. So you said you saw a kid that loves basketball, but what do you think he's going to bring? Is it another dimension? Is it something that he could do that maybe you didn't have in past years? What do you see that he can contribute?
Dom's work ethic is second to none. He's a competitor, a fierce competitor. He hates to lose. Guys like that are the type of players that Nottingham wants. He brings a ton of energy to practice, to games. He's got a really high basketball IQ. We run a lot of different things, and Dom picked them up pretty quickly. And he's coachable, and that's probably the most important thing for a high school player is to stay focused on things that are in front of you, and keep grinding and keep learning, and improving every day, and be accountable, and hold your teammates accountable, and everyone else. And Dom does a terrific job, and if there's things that he doesn't like, he tells everyone. So I mean, what can I like about Dom? And I mean, just he's a great player, and when you said he's, we finally have a center. Well, again, we play positionless basketball. I mean, he can play other positions. Like I just like to call him the stretch, like Jokic from Denver. He can handle the ball a little bit, can shoot a little bit, rebounds a little bit, can pass the ball. He does a little bit of everything. And they're the type of players that that Nottingham coaches enjoy coaching.
Yeah, no question. I mean, you were very quick. I said, "Oh, you got to set," because I remember watching Dom when he would get it at Trenton Catholic. The guy would come in, grab a bunch of rebounds. I'm like, okay, this is And then when I heard that he was coming over to Nottingham, I said, "Wow, Chris Raba finally has a center." And you go, "Oh no, positionless." So
yeah, I mean, so I wouldn't call Joe like a point guard or JP a point. We're just positionless. Like I said, our offense is based upon if you can handle the ball, if you can make reads, and if you can catch the ball. I mean, we don't really. I mean, at times we do run some plays where we play with a guy who's underneath the basket, but more of our offense is like cutting and reading the defense, and we're like it's almost like a 5-out. Almost a lot of reads.
Yeah. Joe, back to you. What would you say that the strengths are, maybe even compared to last year's team? What have you noticed so far early on here in the practices and getting set for the first game?
That everybody's more comfortable with their play style. Last year, it was a lot of iffy with a lot of kids coming straight from JV, not having varsity experience and just getting thrown into the fire and just having to deal with it. Versus this year, everybody knows what they can do and knows what everybody else can do. So I just feel like everybody's more comfortable with each other and they're ready to go this year.
So is it pretty much you feel much more comfortable now because you have that year under your belt, obviously, but is there a lot of change to maybe some of the stuff that you guys might be practicing or might be running this year? Or is it pretty much almost the same thing where you kind of know what to expect this year as opposed to last year?
It's pretty much the same thing. We've done the same plays, defenses, nothing switched. So I don't know why we would switch it if we had such a good year with it last year. I think it's going to go good for us this year.
I mean, that's kind of the MO, right? Mixing a lot of things up and trying to get other teams off balance. JP, I wondering from you, I mean, you seem to, I know that there's no, point guard or whatever positions, but you seem to bring the ball up the floor a lot. And coach was just talking about a lot of reading and everything. How comfortable are you with that year under your belt finally on varsity that, you can you feel like you can jump in and make some really solid reads and set your teammates up? How comfortable are you now?
I'm really comfortable. I know what I can do and what I could bring to the table. I know where to find my guys and where to get them open. I know my role. I know what, and everybody else on the team knows their role. So I think everything's just going to be fine, especially with the players we've added. And with Coach Raba, we're going to be just fine.
I'm sure that you will. What would you say that your strengths are on the floor, whether it be defense? I know you had a couple of really nice offensive performances last year as well, but what do you see as your main strengths, JP?
Are we talking about just last year or now?
No, right now. I mean, how have you improved? I mean, what are you most confident in right now?
I think I'm definitely confident in driving the ball, attacking. I know I could get to the rim whenever I want to. Like I said, I know where to find my guys when they're open. I know how to read the defense. I know how to cheat the defense. I develop my shot, so I'll definitely be shooting the ball more this year. My free throws I've been working on. Coach Rob was on me this summer, so I've definitely been working on them in the gym. Definitely defense is my key. I feel like that's where I get most of my points off of. I'm a dog, so like when I'm on the ball, that's all I want. It's like a dog. They want the treat before they want it. It's like that's me. That's what I want. That's what I'm gonna get. So
yeah, I do feel that when you guys, just watching you guys, when you guys start to play really good defense, you guys are. It's tough to beat you because the way that carries the momentum into the offense. I mean, there's teams like Trenton that their entire game is speed the game up, steals, and create easy points over turnovers. You guys don't necessarily have to play like that. You could slow the offense down, but still create those turnovers. And obviously, JP's talking about it a lot. I mean, Dom, now back to you. You seem like the kind of guy that might be able to stretch some of those defenses now. How are you with shooting the three ball, kind of extending? I mean, it seems like you're going to be playing all over the place. So what's your role, do you think, that's going to be in this offense?
I feel confident with my shooting. During the summer, every day, just shooting. Coach Raba, if I messed something up, he would tell me if I was messing up with my form shooting, anything with that. So I really just concentrate on shooting foul shots, foul line extended, 3 points, all that. So even in Moody Park, I was shooting the ball. My confidence wasn't really there a couple years ago with shooting, but I really found a way to just shoot and stretch the floor, even if it's like a tight game. If they were like how you said, turn high, they want to speed up and stuff. Just take our time, spread the floor, and just shoot the ball. I'm confident in all my teammates, myself too. So just really that.
Well, that's a good thing to hear, right, Coach? I mean, you have a newer player to your system. Obviously, you've known him for a while, but it's got to be good to hear that he feels confident in not only himself but the teammates as well. I mean, Dom, another quick one for you. I mean, how quickly has it been for you to make the adjustment and kind of get to know these guys, or did you know some of them already? I mean, what's the process been like as you started practice and, we're only about a week away? I mean, are you fully confident that, you've grasped everything and everything is going to continue to progress the way that you have felt so far?
I'm confident. My teammates showed me the way right away, right when I stepped in the door, especially in the summer. They taught me the plays, all that stuff. All I had to do was just pay attention, listen. That's really it. And then I had Coach Robbo on the sideline correcting my stuff. And I just had to execute the stuff, even in Moody Park. Just executing that stuff, just trust my teammates because Joe and JP are leaders. So next year it's going to be my turn. So I have to pay attention this year and just learn, really just learn.
Chris, how difficult can it be to kind of get everybody in sync when you have a couple of new players? I assume there's a couple, not just Dom, but each year it's got to have their own individual different challenges and sets of things, whether it be new players, whether it be, whatever the case might be, that you kind of look at the new roster and say to yourself, okay, what do I have to do? What have you been focused on early on here in practices? You got to turn your mic on.
Sorry about that, Keith. Yeah. You know what?
Oh, you're
fine. Funny. This year we have. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Three transfers. Three guys who were new to the program, and it's not easy. It's hard to reteach things that the guys know from last year, because it's those guys from last year kind of get bored real quick because it takes a while for the new kids to learn what we're doing. Basically, Keith, and a lot of times in our system, these kids are brought up when they're freshmen. They play JV and they learn the system then, and then the next step is they probably play JV and some varsity, and they learn the system then, and then by the time they're juniors, they're ready to step in. So really, a lot of these kids have 2 years under their belts before they play varsity basketball. So Dom here, we're trying to show Dom things that it takes 2 years for some people to learn. We're trying to do that for a few months with Dom, but Dom's basketball IQ is incredible and his work ethic is incredible. So he wants to learn, he listens, he's coachable. But it's not easy. Sometimes it's almost like I guess putting together like an AAU team. You get guys from here and there, and then you're trying to put something together real quick. So it doesn't happen overnight. I can tell you right now that we will be a better team in February than we will be next Friday. We have another transfer from TCA who has to sit 30 days. Who his name is Terrence Keese. He's going to be a big part of us. We got a transfer from Trenton High, Tyree Thompson. So it's going to take kids a while to learn things. Luckily, the Dom's been around since the summer, so Dom had a head start on everything. But it definitely isn't easy, and I know it's not easy for the other guys who have been in the program, and that they have to be there during practice to not relearn things because they already know it, but just keep going through the same things every day, and every day there's just repetition, so the other kids can learn it. So
So when you say 30 days, are they allowed to practice?
Yes,
but
they are.
Can't play in games? Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So they have to sit 30 days and starting from the first game. So 30 days
Gotcha.
first game. So, I mean, I know that we're gonna be a better team when we get some of those guys. I mean, I also want to talk about we have a really good junior class. You're going to hear the name Dante Alexander this year. You're going to hear about Jordan Robinmore this year. You're going to hear about Jameer Miller this year. Matt Giuliano. I mean, we have a lot of guys and Jerry Gilmore. This year we can play 10 or 11 guys where last year we couldn't. So I mean, we plan on playing guys. I remember Joe, JP, and Q were playing like 30 minutes a game last year. That's we have guys now where they can get a break.
You made my job very easy.
Yeah,
I thank you for that.
Because we only played 7 guys.
I only had to memorize the numbers and names of about 8 guys, which I like.
Right. So
it's not like Heightstown where they're playing every 12 guys.
But I'm excited for our depth. I'm excited for our seniors, and I'm excited for our juniors. I mean, I think last year our juniors who were sophomores weren't ready to play, but they had to play because we lost so many guys, and some gained some valuable experience. And we have some sophomores who got a lot better in the summer playing AAU, and we as our program developed them, and they're ready to play. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, there could be a different starting 5 every game. I mean, guys are going to have to compete.
You've done that before, yeah. Right.
Guys are going to have to compete in practice. Guys are going to have to be coachable. Guys are going to have to listen, and and they do. But I mean, we have some depth this year, which is good. It's always good for players to compete against each other and compete for minutes. We haven't had Joe for any scrimmages yet, and we've done pretty well. So I mean, it just shows that we have guys that can play. We haven't had our full team yet during the scrimmages, so I'm really excited to see what's going to happen when we do have our full team. But every year is different. Our hopes and our aspirations are always the same. We just want to do better than what we did the year before. I mean, I always preach that it really, to be great, you really don't require talent. I mean, if you're coachable, if you come to practice on time, if you compete, if you have good body language, if you don't care that you score and all you care about is that somebody who's wearing a Nottingham jersey scores, you'll have a good season. But treat your teammates the way that you want them to be treated, and just make your teammates better. That's all. Every day. I mean, I have no goals. My goal is, just for the kids to grow and be better basketball players and be better people. But by the time they graduate, and learn something about sacrifice and winning, and those things that you're going to need when you move on, and get a job, or you move on and go to college. But we're all excited, but every year is different.
No question. Final few minutes here with the Nottingham guys, and Dom, I'll go quickly back to you because Coach kind of buried the lead there. There's a couple of other Trenton Catholic kids I didn't know. I can only find out what I can at the time. But so, Dom, what's that like for you to have a couple of familiar faces that you just played with also come over to Nottingham?
So with TJ, me and him have been playing AU since 4th grade. So I really know what he brings to every game, even practices. He's really a great point guard. He'll get us in our plays and all that stuff like that. That's really it with TJ. But when he's at practice, now that he's the 30 days, but he claps in practices, talks on defense. That's what, as a teammate, as me and JP and Joe, we like that. So even in the games, it's going to help us all. So that's what I see with TJ.
Awesome.
Yeah, Keith, you know what? I'm really interested. Everyone knows the type of pressure that JP can put on the ball, but I'm really interested when we have JP and TJ out there together, the type of pressure that they can put on the opponents. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm hoping, both of them when they're locked in, can really defend, and they want to defend. Like most kids
Right.
just play like that fake defense for like 2 or 3 seconds, and then you can just drive right by them. Like JP said, his bread and butter is defending. Like he knows. I mean, I think TJ is going to be a tremendous defender just with those two guys. Guarding the other two opponents' guards. Right there, we should be in good shape right there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other teams as well that have pretty good guard play. So I'm excited to see those guys match up against each other. JP, back to you, just kind of wrapping things up. We talked a lot about the defense and how the team has kind of changed, some new players. And Coach kind of mentioned you and Joe played a ton of minutes last year. Do you kind of embrace the fact that, it might be, you might get some time off there a little bit because there's a little bit more depth with this team, or you just want to, you don't care how many minutes you play as long as the team's winning? I mean, where do you stand on that?
Well, as long as the team's winning, I'm not really worried about the lineups. I know I'm going to do my part. I know Coach will get me back in whenever he take me out. So I'm not really worried about that at all. So
the practices have been very competitive.
Yes, very, very, very competitive, to where Coach is like, all right, enough, need to calm down, Well,
you don't want anybody getting hurt. Joe, do you feel the same way? I mean, you played a lot of minutes last year too. It seemed like you were always out there and you contributed heavily on offense. I mean, you knocked down a lot of big shots last year. And I know Q was a big part of the offense as well, and a big part as a whole of the team last year. But for this year, I mean, same question to you that I just asked JP. I mean, is there any kind of thought like, okay, I might get a little bit more of a break here, so I won't have to play 40 minutes every game? I mean, what's your sense on how this team might be?
Well, like what JP said, it doesn't matter who's on the court just as long as we're winning the game, because at the end, we're all just trying to go as far as we can in the playoffs and the Mercer County tournament and try to win it all. It doesn't really matter who scores, who does this, who plays. We know that we're going to get our time, and then we're going to do our best at what we can do.
Well, I love it. It sounds like it's I asked, competitive practices, and everybody lit up and was like, oh yeah. So I'm really excited to see this team, guys. And I wish you guys all the best of luck. And I appreciate you spending some time with us tonight.
Keith, can you hear me? Am I on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're on. Yeah, you're on.
Keith, so I just want to thank you for just having us on and for interviewing JP, Joe, and Dom. We always love when you stream our games. I always know before the games, somebody's always asking me, is WBCB there going to be there? So our kids love it. I actually think JP asked today, what games are you streaming? So our guys love when you're there. You're always gracious and great to us, and we just want to thank you.
No problem, and we appreciate the kind words. Of course, I will be there a lot. I'll be covering you guys a lot this year, so I am very excited once again to watch you guys in action. So best of luck. And once again, this has been sponsored by Capital Health System, the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, New Jersey Education Association, Hamilton Township Education Association, and also by Sophie Rose. Best of luck, guys. And this has been the Nottingham Preview Show here on the WBCB Sports Network.